common issues that come up with analogous color schemes. Now, sometimes when someone decides that they want to have an analogous color scheme, like this one where you have all the colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, like blue, bluish violet, violet, violet red, red, and you put them all next to each other in a design, you sometimes end up with a design that's hard to read. And when the instructor points out to the student, hey, your design is really hard to read, the student says, well, of course it is. It's an analogous color scheme, right? So it's all the colors are next to each other on the color wheel, so there's no contrast. So again, that's the student confusing contrast with color, when really contrast is about value. And also, if your design is planned out well, contrast really shouldn't be an issue with the colors that you choose, right? Regardless of the colors that you choose, if your value is working and your composition is working, then the colors should also help to make your design readable, whether they're analogous or complementary. Okay, so let's first do a quick trick to see if we are running into problems with value. And what I do is I just add the black and white adjustment layer over my whole design, and then that lets me see my design in black and white, and it shows me that yes, we have some problems with value. Our letters are not dark enough in comparison to the background. There's not enough contrast between the text and the background, resulting in the text being hard to read. Also, there's no clear focal point because your eye doesn't know whether it's supposed to be looking at the gradient in the background, the polka dots, or the text. They all seem to be competing for attention. So let's work on making a design that is a little bit simpler, right? And has a clear focal point. Now we can use these polka dot ideas here, but maybe instead of having them overlap the text, we could have them maybe above the text a little ways, or maybe as a smaller sort of logo, maybe right in the middle. Now, gradient backgrounds are really hard to get working for you because if the background changes value from light to dark, then you don't know what value text you're supposed to use. If you use a light value text, it might be readable during the light part of your gradient, but it might be hard to read during the dark part of your gradient. So instead of having a linear gradient that goes across the design like this, what I'll do is I'll use a radial gradient that will darken my corners but leave the middle of my design relatively light. I'm going to do that one more time. Do one more. There we go. And now that text. What I'm going to do is choose a color, a value that's much darker than my background. Do a little color overlay. And I'm going to choose a dark gray. And see, now my text is easy to read. And I don't know what colors I have here. They are, I have my blue background there. I have my bluish purple and my purple there. I need to make my text either bluish or purple to stick with my analogous color scheme. So I'm going to change the color of my text from that dark gray color to either a dark purplish bluish color. Okay, and now we have a finished analogous design that is much easier to read than the one we had before. Right, so simple tricks to just make your design more readable. Have a clear focal point, have a background that doesn't make your text hard to read,